There is a common pattern of mistakes which leaders make, which hamper their growth, which hamper their progress, which doesn't let them step the game to the next level. And this is common in many businesses that I have observed over the past couple of years, that there are very many companies and many leaders who have this common pattern of mistakes. So I want to share with you the five biggest mistakes leaders make. But before I share these insights, for those who don't know me, my name is Vijay Mistry. I'm a business transformation and leadership strategist, and I advise CEOs and companies globally. So, the first biggest mistake leaders make is they fail to see the bigger picture. Now, what happened is there was this manufacturing organization I went, and the managing director, who was a part shareholder, and so I told him that, do you have these strategic meetings and all that? And he said, no, we don't have that. What we do is we have management reports. It was a mid-sized organization, but they were just focusing on short term. They were not looking into the long term. And all he had in that particular company was some forecasts which he had for a year, but nothing else. There was nothing long term that this particular organization had. And this is one of the key mistakes which leaders make, that they fail to see the bigger picture. You need to look at it 10 years from now. You need to be able to paint a picture 10 years from now. Imagine what it would look like 10 years from now. There's some study which was conducted of 500 executives, and only 18% managed to articulate the vision properly. So just imagine that how many are failing to see this particular big picture. So if you really want to move to the next level, make sure that you connect all your decisions, whatever you're doing, to that 10-year period. So there was one question which I got is that, Vijay, look, there's so much of firefighting going on, there's so much of work. How are we going to really have the time to connect to this long term? And here's what you can do is step back with your team just for 2 hours and brainstorm, find out exactly what it is that you want to see 10 years from now. Have that collective intention in place. It should be simple, it should be succinct, it should be clear, it should be explicit, so that everybody understands and everybody is on the same page. Once you have that in place, that 2 hour investment can really move the needle for you. It can really add traction in your organization. So I press upon you to consider putting this 2 hours, just 2 hours of your time or investment, brainstorm and come up with a 10-year specific point of destination, as I would put it. Be very clear as to where you want to be. Let me move to the second biggest mistakes leaders make, and that is they don't take risks. Now, many organizations have noted that they are indecisive in many instances as well. They want to grow, they want to scale up, they've got the enthusiasm, they've got the energy levels, but they don't take those risks. And even not taking any risk is a risk, as you know. So, the point which I'm trying to raise here is, if you want to grow, if you want to take advantage of the opportunities in whatever you're doing, then you need to take bite-sized risks. So you'll say that, how can we take risks during these uncertainties? Here are some thoughts and suggestions. What you can really do is try having some contingency in whatever business outfit you have a little bit of contingency, so that you can experiment, so you can test, you can find out exactly what's working and what's not working. Take examples of companies like Amazon. They have had failures many times. They've taken those bite-sized risks, and many have failed as well. Alexa took, I think, over 7 years before it really came out. So my point here is that if you take those small risks, it will pay off in the long run. So that is what you really need to consider, and take those small bite-sized risks, as I put it. The third, which in my opinion should be a wake up call, it must be a wake up call, is imbalance. So, what do I mean by imbalance? So, there was this manufacturing organization where one of the team members left, and without any consideration, what this CEO did is he took all that work burden and passed 80% to the general manager. And this in itself overwhelmed the general manager. And that is one example. In another organization, there was another senior team member, but the CEO assigned duties which were lower than the capability and the competence of that particular executive. So you can imagine these imbalances can really be costly to your organization. It could drain the energy, it would be overwhelmed, there wouldn't be focus, and what you expect in your desired results will be completely different from what you get. So be very careful, because this imbalance can really be a big problem in your organization. Which leads me to the fourth biggest mistake that leaders make, and they don't accept their own mistakes. I came across many CEOs and executives as well who would not accept their own mistakes. They make those mistakes, but they don't accept, because they have this identity issue as well, that what would others think about them. So that in itself created a culture where others would not admit their mistakes. If you see where I'm coming, the whole pipeline, the team members, they were also scared to share if they made a mistake, and they would cover up the mistakes, which was very costly to the organization. In one particular organization where I was a company coach and an advisor, what happened is the CEO, he overstocked, he bought more stock, and out of it 50% was dead stock that he bought. And when we appraised everything, and we mentioned this was there, he did not even at one point accept that he made the error, and he started pointing fingers at other responsible officers and managers. So the point which I'm trying to raise here is that unless and until you accept your weaknesses, you're not going to get the value contribution that you need from your team members, and neither are you going to really progress and step up and appraise. Because once you appraise yourself, what's going to happen is you'll sharpen and you'll start making better decisions at the end of the day. And this leads me to the fifth biggest mistake leaders make, and that is ineffective communication. In many instances, I've noted that leaders ask their subordinates for certain reports or certain work to be done, but they are frustrated because the biggest challenge they face is unmet expectations. They expect a certain desired result which is not being met within a particular timeline. And the biggest reason is that communication, the clarity in communication, because clarity is where the power is, clarity is where the impact is. Yet I see that communication is not uh, clear enough and not simplified either. So it's very important that you communicate with confidence. And when can you communicate with confidence is when you have the competence as well. And competence is skills, knowledge, and experience at the end of the day. So you need to have the relevant skills as well. And you need to ask the right questions as well, so that you can make sure that everybody understands, each and every team member understands what it is that you are trying to achieve. And you need to make sure that it is properly balanced, the timelines are properly balanced as well. So make sure there is that effective communication in place. You have the right policies, you have the right procedures in place, you have the right rules and principles in your organization, and you have values which is aligned to the organization, because that will help you to move the needle. So my dear friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did like this video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you get first hand notification when I release the next value driven video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.